Thanks everyone for being here, supporting me, Damien and Flower. I'm thankful that you're all here to experience this moment with me, Damien and Flower. It's really my privilege to tell you a little bit more about my story and like what led me to pursue it and what ultimately led me into a career in software engineering. Now, as a kid, I always had like a curious mind. I was always asking questions and seeking answers. I mean, like what kid isn't? But I think I was like a little bit more kid-like. Questions like, how much does a fire truck hold, or like who invented Monopoly? How much paper can one tree make? I have to thank my mom and dad for their patience, but after a while, it probably got really frustrating. You know what I mean? You can always tell a little bit. And they did what all good parents do, in my opinion. They told me to look it up. Like find the answer for yourself. Look it up. If you can't give a kid or an adult for that matter the answer to every question. They have to go out there and find it for themselves. And there's only like three ways I think for me to find out the answer to a question. It's either like a book, going outside and learning, or on a computer. And for me, books was just strictly entertainment, like Hardy Boys and Harry Potter, not for answering like life's big questions. I just it was for me. It's like for fun. I don't want to rife through encyclopedias. So what about going outside? Okay, sure. Going outside is good for finding answers. Also, it's also good for getting some context on the answers you do find. But I was easily distracted. I'd go outside to find an answer to a question, and now I'm going to the park. Now I'm playing basketball. Now I'm riding my bike, going outside, like touching grass. So for me, that left the computer. And I would say most of my time on the computer as a child growing up was just consuming information. If I had a question about something, that's where I would go for the answer. Okay, nice. There's 500 gallons of water in a fire truck. Okay, cool. Like Elizabeth Maggie invented Monopoly. I still don't know the answer to the tree paper question. I think it like varies depending on the tree, type of paper, and we recycle, so we get like multiple uses, but that's not important. Eventually I went to school for business at East Stroudsburg University, specifically marketing. In many ways, it was my way of activating my curious mind. I wanted to learn and look for answers. Why do people use the products they do? Why Coke over Pepsi? Is one product better, or does it make me feel better when I use it? I was interested in how companies position themselves and how that affected people's buying tendencies. So my interest in people's buying behavior led me to sales after I graduated. Could I influence people to use a product and communicate its value to them? Why, after everything I say, does this person refuse to buy, or why is this person more likely to buy because, if I say a little bit less? Later, my interest in the process and the behind the scenes work that helped make an organization run led me to like bookkeeping and like financial services, mostly like tax accounting. But so I did that for a little bit, and at this point, I wasn't sure what was going to come next. I was thinking about going back to school, or maybe pivoting into a different field. I had a lot of questions, and just looking at for the next answer like wasn't going to be enough for me. That's when one of my coworkers came to me and said that she was thinking about learning how to code. I thought more about coding. What is it like? Besides like people hunched over computers, like talking about how they're going to change the world, like what does that even mean? I started to do what I always do. I ask the questions, and that's when I came to like an important conclusion. Asking the question is like the first step to solving a problem, and maybe that's what I wanted to do, not just like answer questions. Maybe these people hunched over these computers who were learning how to build and use software and using their knowledge to answer questions that people had not even considered. Maybe they were, doing the right thing. That inspired me to learn how to code. And I like to learn on my own, honestly, but I thought that learning with a diverse and interesting group of people was like necessary for me to learn how to solve the important problems. So I enrolled in Pursuit and became a Pursuit Fellow. And during my time at Pursuit, I met amazing people that I still talk to today. I learned invaluable skills that led me to this opportunity, an opportunity to take my career further in a direction that I can be proud of. And, there were some difficulties along the way. Right as my capstone project started, it was like March 2020. I was having like probably one of the greatest years ever until the pandemic hit. I won't go into too much detail. because it wasn't that long ago and we all lived it. You know what I mean? So I'd say that adjusting to the new reality of COVID while working on my final project for the fellowship was a demanding experience. And I wouldn't have gotten through it if it wasn't for my family, my friends, fellows, mentors, colleagues, and other extended pursuit family. I want to especially thank Juke, David, Alejo, who was the old 6.2 teacher, Carolyn, Dessa, Alexis, Ben, Jordan, and Timothy. They were, really important in helping me keep moving forward and never giving up, teaching me everything I needed to know. And frankly, the end of pursuit came. And frankly, after a pretty long job search that taught me some tough lessons about like perseverance, rejection, I started to ask myself, what was I doing and how could I improve as an engineer? I wanted to be a part of a team that was solving important issues, do something that I can point to, a company that I can point to and say, yeah, that's important. This needs to change and this company aims to be that change. And I'm glad to say that I found that company at Cedar, and I have Pursuit Commit to thank for highlighting the opportunity. I'm thankful to have landed at Cedar and to be part of an amazing team of engineers that are looking to build a better financial experience for patients. We aim to reduce the friction of administrative and the billing aspect of the healthcare industry by offering patients and providers an intuitive platform to connect patients and their providers. I'm part of the communications team on the post-visit pillar. I think we're changing that name to the access team a little bit later. And basically, my team handles the communications between patients and providers, as well as like personalizing communication in a way that will most likely result in like patient comfortability and financial resolution. Like I love my team, they're focused, they're great engineers. They give me the space to like ask questions and learn from my mistakes, and there's plenty of them, so I have a lot of learning. And I've only been here for a month, and learned so much from them, like working in the flow of a team, pair programming with my mentor Sojung, getting feedback from my manager Matt, and I wanted to shout them out real quick because they've been really like important to helping me feel like a part of the team, and they're helping me grow as an engineer. And I couldn't do this transition without them. And thank you all for listening to me. And with that said, I'm gonna ring the gong now. Let me share my screen.
Congrats. That was so amazing. Congrats, Owen.
Congratulations.
Yay, Owen. Hope you can teach me something about patient communication. I'm going into nursing school in May, so we're all in the health field.
Yep. Love you, Mom.
Good to know about your company.